Welcome to our podcast focusing on new artists today. I am Grayson Eaton with Caitlin Dewberry and Ryan Cole. Our guest speaker for today is Libby Rodriguez.
The first band that I'm going to be talking about is Greta Van Fleet. They were formed in Michigan in 2012. They had released a few songs in 2014, but they got really big after they released their single Highway Tune in 2017. The band is made up by twins Josh Kiszka and Jake Kiszka, their younger brother Sam Kiszka, and the drummer Danny Wagner.
Since they began in 2012, why do you think it took so long for them to come up as good artists now?
Well, because in 2012, they like I said, they started in Michigan. So 2012, they were just doing like small shows and just kind of moving around, getting a feel for like what they wanted to do. And the lead singer, it's kind of a funny story. He literally sounds just like the lead singer from Led Zeppelin.
Wow.
If you've ever heard, any band from the 70s or anything like that, Led Zeppelin is a very prominent band of that era. And I was watching a review and all kinds of stuff on this band, and they were talking about one day they were just rehearsing or something like that, and the lead singer actually tried to fight the other band members with how loud they were being, and he just let out this wail way above everybody else, and they were like, okay, he's got a voice on him. And from then on they had just kind of started moving up, and when they right around 2014 2015 they had released a few songs, and around 2016 is when they had really gotten serious about it. And the same person who has picked up a few artists, it's gonna sound kind of weird, but if you've ever heard the Blue Man Group, or there's a few more artists that he's picked up, but he picked them up on the spot. And from then on, they've gotten they were award winner for Best New Artist in 2017, no Grammy Award winner, and they were Grammy Award winner for Best Rock Album in 2019. And in 2019, they were also nominated for 3 other Grammys: Best New Artist, Best Rock Performance, and Best Rock Song.
Hi guys, it's Libby, and I'm here to talk to you about more of the musical theater world. I know that musical theater has been kind of growing more in our society nowadays, especially with movie musicals and the release of Hamilton. And I want to talk to you more about one of the artists whom I really love a lot. Kristin Chenoweth has been in a lot of different Broadway shows, movies, and there's actually a lot of children's movies that people have seen, and you might actually recognize Kristin Chenoweth without realizing it. She's won one Emmy Award and 3 Tony Awards. She had her big break in Wicked when it first came out on Broadway. She played Glinda, and she was the counterpoint to Idina Menzel's role of Elphaba. And she's done countless things, such as Your Good Man Charlie Brown and other character roles. And what's interesting about her voice in general is that she can make a really nasally character voice, kind of like this, but then she can also easily switch to a more classical and resonant sound. She's been trained fabulously. Her voice can really carry, and she's just a great comical character actress.
So, Libby, if you had to say which Broadway show do you think she performed the best in, what would you say?
Ooh, gosh, that's hard. Because I've seen a lot of videos of her performing different things. I'm a little biased towards Wicked because that is one of my favorite musicals. But I gotta say, I really love her performance as Sally Brown in Your Good Man Charlie Brown.
Really?
Because she really goes all out. In Your Good Man Charlie Brown, there's adults playing kids as the little, peanut comic characters or whatever. And so even though she is an adult, she acts as this little small child with a very nasally and like high-pitched voice, and she sings the song My New Philosophy, and it's really funny because she's arguing with someone. I think it was Schroeder that she argues with, and she's talking about different mantras that she uses for her philosophy, like no, and then he would say something and she's like no, or whatever. She just goes obnoxious. It's great. The acting, singing, everything that she does is just amazing. I look up to her a lot.
Isn't she known for like yodeling also?
I've actually never heard her yodel.
I'm pretty sure she yodels. Yeah, you should look into that.
I'll look
I'm
into
pretty
that.
sure she does.
But I know that she's done, I guess it's like different cabarets of different shows as well, probably. But I've seen her perform stuff like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Taylor the Latte Boy. You
No,
guys should
I'm
listen
not.
to that song because it's hilarious. And there's actually someone who made a parody, which is like a reply, but Taylor the Latte Boy is not from a musical, but it's still a musical theater song somehow. And it's about this girl who sees this guy working at a coffee shop, and she just immediately falls in love with him and just sings about how amazing he is and how they'll go on dates and this and that, even though they don't really know each other. And she would take all of these hints, like he would just be nice to her, like, oh, like here's an extra napkin or something. And she's like, oh my gosh, like he just did this, and it's really funny. And then I know someone did a parody of the guy and how he responds, like, okay, you're creepy, leave me alone. So it's really funny to see Kristen do different roles like this. And I know like there's I don't know if this was a cabaret or if she actually performed this in a show, but she did a Glitter and Be Gay from Candide. And there's some pretty high notes there, all right. Like high E that you would hear at the end of Phantom of the Opera
Oh wow.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
But what I mean by that, she's not just like, warming up to the high note like you would in Phantom of the Opera. She goes, like she just kind of bounces around and she just casually hits the E, and I'm just like, wow, okay, soprano goals. Like I
Like it's nothing to her.
yeah, like okay. And actually with my first voice teacher, we were actually talking about Kristen Chenoweth. Like this was way before I went to Averett or Florida School of the Arts. We were talking about how she was actually kind of born and grew up with this nasality. Like she really could not get out of this voice. She could not speak normally or even sing classically at all. And my voice teacher was just like, I would love to have been a fly on the wall with her voice teacher trying to correct her speech and everything. I'm like, wow, like I can't even imagine. I know that I've had speech impediments when I was little. I couldn't pronounce a lot of consonants. Like my mom said, it sounded like I had a bunch of marbles in my mouth.
wow.
Like it was terrible. I don't really remember speech therapy that much because I was very young, but I can't even imagine what she had to go through. Because I mean, I know I'm not perfect with diction or whatever, especially since I'm in theater, but it's a little frustrating when you get used to talking a certain way.
Yeah, that's gotta be
Um,
hard to get away
yeah.
from the normal way that you do.
Oh
things.
yes,
I
like
know.
I'm actually taking a voice and diction class right now, and there's some interesting ways to pronounce things that we all pronounce wrong, evidently. Like lawyer is actually lawyer, lawyer. Yeah, it's interesting. And then whenever there's a WH, the H should go first. So it's supposed to be what? Why? White. Like, there's a lot of things. And of course, there's people with the dialects, like Danvillians, they enter. I know.
Yeah.
They tend to add a lot more diphthongs to words that should just have one.
Yeah, like people that are not from here, they say Danville as just Danville. Well, we here call it Danville.
Oh,
We run it together. We don't say the proper way Danville. We say Danville.
interesting. I definitely did not know that.
Dan Vegas, that's what I
Yeah,
do.
Dan,
Dan
Vegas.
Vegas.
Yeah, that's Hey, it especially will be Dan
The
Vegas if we get the
Yeah, the
casino.
I'm like, is that actually happening?
Yeah.
So one group that I want to call attention to, and they are new, they actually just started in 2012, and they're actually very popular now. The group that I'm calling attention to is Dan and Shay. They are signed to Warner Brother Records Nashville. One of their recent most popular songs that they've released is Tequila, and it's one of my favorite songs. Have you guys heard Tequila?
Yes, I think it's really great. It's pretty
Yeah,
catchy.
you should definitely listen to Tequila. Speechless is another one of their very
Yes.
popular recent songs. Tequila debuted at 21 on the U.S. Hot 100. Speechless, 24 on the U.S. Hot 100. So that's definitely my recommendation of who you should listen to if you like country music. They are really, really good.
If you had to choose which song you prefer over the other, which one would you say?
Tequila,
Tequila.
definitely. And another one of my favorite songs, it didn't chart that well, but Keeping Score with Kelly Clarkson, that's another one of my favorite songs that they've done. That is a really good song, so definitely listen to their music.
Yeah, and another artist that actually came up in 2012 also was Normani, who she began on the X Factor with Chain of Fools that she was performing in hopes of becoming a superstar. And by that performance, she actually got added to the group, which is now well known as Fifth Harmony. And so after their start there, they worked towards top charts, and they have popular songs such as Work From Home. And eventually they all wanted to reach solo careers. And she actually stated in a recent interview for Billboard that this was always the goal for her, was to become a solo artist. And so her first song that she released as a solo artist was with Khalid in February of 2018. And this song actually reached the top 10 of the Hot 100 of that year. And so only at 22 years old, she's working now towards her own album as a solo artist. And she describes that in the past with Fifth Harmony, her creativity was a lot of times put under the bus kind of thing. That she was told basically how she had to sing or how much she could sing. And so she's looking forward to the fact that now she can be as creative with her own works as she would like to be. And so a lot of her inspiration has actually come from Destiny's Child, which I'm sure you guys have heard of.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
her idol, she says, is Beyonce. Coming up this year also, she's going to be the opening for Ariana Grande's tour starting in March 2019. I think if you want to listen to her, you should definitely listen to one of her most recent released songs with Sam Smith, which is called Dancing with a Stranger, which is slowly climbing the charts now.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good song, Caitlin. So what would one of your favorite songs be that she's done?
Well, Work From Home definitely was a huge hit for Fifth Harmony. That's when they really hit their peak in their careers. But currently, I would have to say Love Lies is probably still one of my
Yeah, I
favorites.
really like Love Lies.
It was actually the soundtrack
Yeah.
for Love, Simon, which is a very popular
Mm-hmm.
movie of last year. And also recently, her popular song Waves, that she has also collaborated with Black with, their music video just recently came out. So everyone should check that out too.
Yeah, I haven't heard Waves. I'll definitely have to check that out.
That
I
one's
think she's
pretty
a really
good.
good artist.
Yes, I agree. I hope that people do see that she has more talent than she was able to show in Fifth Harmony, as like I spoke of. But can you imagine how difficult that has to be to share your talent with 4 other individuals in one group?
I know, totally. And making sure you're collaborating on the harmonies and just everything of that nature. Yeah, it's really tough. It's much tougher than it looks to be in a group.
And then having a record company such as Epic, which is who they were under at the time, telling you how much you can sing. Like, can you imagine someone doing that to you after you've made it this far? I mean, she started all of this when she was only 15 years old.
Wow.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Make sure to check out the new artists we mentioned.
Be sure to tune in next week as we review the first episode of season 16 of The Voice.